George Russell's still got a nice 63-point lead in the World Championship, but Max Verstappen has whittled away 35 points over the last 2 races. Should we be worried? Hello folks, welcome to episode 78 of the Career Mode with Mercedes. My name's Aaron and today I'm bringing you the Bahrain Grand Prix, not the season opener anymore. It's now in the middle of September as we head to the Middle East. So we are, as I said, still clear in the Drivers' Championship with George Russell, but we've not won the last 2 races, having won 7 in a row ahead of that with George. And he did have a almost 100-point lead in the championship heading to Monza, but then we forgot to put enough fuel in the car and we ended up running out of fuel on the last lap. So go back and check that out and see my embarrassment. So we finished 2nd and 3rd in Baku last time out, and this is the state of play in the championship. Oscar Piastri has pole position in the last 2 rounds and collected his 2nd podium, his career best P2. And here's the state of play in the Constructors' Championship. We're just 7 points behind Red Bull, who took the lead in Monza. Today we head to Bahrain, as I said, and this is a track where we could do alright because it rewards top speed, of which we're above average, and DRS effectiveness is important as well because 3 DRS zones. So if we can make good use of that, we'll be in a good position. But we're a little bit behind on low speed performance, but we're very good on medium speed. So it could be quite an interesting race. On the car, we have... we did put the new side pods on for the last race. We've now got a new underfloor on both cars. I think there's one more still to be manufactured. And both cars now have the new latest suspension parts rather than just George in Baku, who, weirdly, didn't perform as well as Oscar. Although part of that might have been because of the slipstream that Oscar got in qualifying and the strategy that we then put each driver on. So, you know, kind of one of those situations. But we're ready to rock and roll into Bahrain then and get going under the lights. I'm going to go through practice and I'll see you ready for qualifying and we'll see how it all shakes out. Just checking in with you ahead of qualifying. We've completed practice with a 100% setup satisfaction for Oscar Piastri, but we need to take a grid drop with George Russell today. He kind of messed up his ERS power supply earlier in the season. We've been managing this second one as far as we could, but today's the day that we need to take that grid drop. So it's probably going to be 10 places. We'll find out after qualifying, but George is taking the first of probably 2, maybe 3 grid drops towards the end of this season. Good thing he's got lots of wins in the bank in terms of points. But with Oscar, I think we should be okay to just take 1 round of power unit extras and penalties, essentially. So he'll probably just take 1 of everything and start from the back in one of the upcoming races. So I'm going to jump into Q1 and Q2. I'll see you in Q3 and then we'll find out just how bad George Russell's grid drop is going to be. Like I said, probably 10 places. We're safely into Q3 then. George Russell topping the times, but Charles Leclerc is not. He's P11 and Red Bull have only managed to get Max Verstappen into the final part of qualifying. And Verstappen helped us get there, in fact, because Piastri was the man outside the top 10 and George was only, what, P8 or P9 or something before we completed this fastest lap. But we had a bit of a slipstream from Verstappen, and who knew? A tow around Bahrain was useful. So let's get ourselves into Q3 straight away. We're going to put a used set of softs onto both cars and save as many sets of softs for the race because you can go soft, medium, soft in Bahrain. And that's quite a good strategy. Right, let's see how our first laps unfold. Okay, coming through the second sector on our opening laps, and Piastri is actually the driver ahead. And they're kind of squabbling, they're kind of slowing each other down. Piastri just moving out to defend the position there, it would seem. And I think this is slowing us down. Are we going to beat Drugovich? No, we're not. We're actually slower than Drugovich. Piastri lost 8 tenths. 8.5 tenths, nearly 9 tenths to the Alpine. That was a disgusting lap in all the wrong ways. Starting our final laps in Q3 then. Lance Stroll has just set the fastest first sector of anyone. I think he's getting a slipstream from Verstappen. We are getting a bit of a tow from Lando Norris, who's currently the fastest man in Bahrain. But we're hoping to usurp him, and we're going to use him to help us do it. And that is exactly what's happening. George Russell with the fastest first sector of anyone. Oscar Piastri is behind Pierre Gasly in the other Ferrari. Let's see how that shakes out for him. He did a 26.9. George did a 26.9 as well. So Oscar's very much in the ballpark, as Verstappen has stayed third, been beaten by Stroll, who he gave a slipstream to. George Russell is fastest in the first and second sectors. He's gone purple. Lando is not improving mid-sector. Let's see what happens then. Lando Norris sets the fastest final sector, but is beaten to pole by George Russell. Here's Oscar Piastri, and it's an all Mercedes front row. Fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. And Verstappen has been shuffled down to 6th. But George, fastest in every sector. What was the lap time? A 29.7. And Piastri, only a 10th and a half off. We've very much got a good qualifying car. George Russell, P1, great start to the weekend. Alright, race day in Bahrain. Let's see how bad the damage is. It is indeed a 10th place grid drop for George Russell, so he won't start on pole position, which means Oscar Piastri heads the field again. Does mean that Verstappen starts from P5, so let's sort some strategy. Let's do the soft, medium, soft with George. I think we've saved 2 sets of soft tyres for him. We have indeed. That's good stuff. And then Oscar, we're going to go soft, medium, medium, because he has 2 sets of mediums to use. And also in Bahrain, you can go aggressive pretty much the whole time. So we're going to do that and hopefully try and get a bit of an undercut on everybody. So that's the strategy. That's how it's going to play out today. Pretty straightforward. I might just move George's final stop a little bit earlier. Actually, if we're going aggressive, we don't want to be too ropey on the tyres. There you go. Lap 40 is about the right time to pit in Bahrain. So I think we're all set. Let's do a motor race. It's the 3rd race in a row that Oscar Piastri starts from P1. There's 5 red lights. The lights are out. The race is on. Let's monitor Oscar's start off the line. There's a feisty looking Aston Martin that's being driven by Lance Stroll in P2 and indeed is already clear into P2. George Russell has gained 2 positions off the line. That's fantastic from him. Up to P9 already, and Oscar clearing off in the lead. Fabulous start for Mercedes. George Russell, let's get you driving. Let's not yet get you driving in clean air. Let's just follow everybody else and we'll sort that out. But Piastri has just taken off like a rocket ship. Can we break the 1 second window to DRS in the first 2 laps? That would be beautiful. However, there is a wild Max Verstappen who's gone from 5th to 3rd at the start. And basically what happened in Baku is Verstappen got into 2nd and didn't let us get away. Hopefully we can do exactly that today and escape the clutches of everybody else and go on to win the race with Oscar. But that's Verstappen looking like he's just taken 2nd position. He has indeed. So I don't think we're going to be able to escape with Oscar in the way I hoped we might. We haven't been able to accelerate clear of the field. George will now be deploying and hopefully be able to get himself through some of this traffic that's on mediums by the look of it. That is Zane Maloney, and there's Sonoda on hards up ahead. So soft-tyred runners are making progress, and one of them is Max Verstappen, which is absolutely not ideal because he's probably about to take the lead. And here he comes again. Max Verstappen. Nothing you can do there, and Oscar just didn't get away enough. But now because there's the 3 DRS zones in Bahrain, we can just hound Verstappen ourselves, and hopefully we can turn the tables on him. That's Oscar Piastri up the inside of Verstappen into the final corner, and I think he'll have DRS as well. Fabulous. Oscar Piastri has DRS, and the lead of the race. George Russell has moved up to 8th and is now blasting down the straight, looking at the inside of Yuki Tsunoda. I don't know if we need to turn his overtake aggression up. The tyres are getting very hot. I'm wondering if we just cool them down a little bit for now and then we can go again on them. George moving into P5 now. He's making some good progress. And it's just Lando Norris before he's unleashed to chase down the lead pack. That's Piastri hustling and harrying against Verstappen as we see someone as Ocon tumbling down the order. Here comes Oscar Piastri up the inside. This is a danger zone around Bahrain. We've seen a Mercedes and Red Bull collide there before in this career mode, but
lovely stuff.
It was indeed Oscar. Excellent. Oscar Piastri into the pit lane then at the end of lap 16. Let's see, is it a good stop? 2.5 seconds, lovely stuff. And we will take that very much and move on. Russell got a 2.8 second stop and pops out in P12 behind the Audi of Nick de Vries. I don't know if I've shown you the new Audi mod that I've put on. There's Théo Pourchaire doing a good job for the German team. And there's Oscar Piastri. We need him to drive in clean air. And, okay, overtakes like that will be good, Oscar. That is beautiful stuff. And now he can chase after Théo Pourchaire, former F3 rival, remember, back in the day. All right, lap 21, halfway round it. We're now 6th and 7th with Oscar Piastri and George Russell. George Russell's just overtaken Fred Vesti in the Williams. Interestingly, Verstappen, Norris, Gasly, Maloney, and in fact, Verstappen just comes in to completely change the trajectory of what I was going to say. He hadn't come in. Let's see what they put on. They put on another set of softs. Okay, interesting. So maybe they're responding to us, but I doubt it. I think this was probably pre-planned by Red Bull. There's Piastri. He's going to zoom past into that position ahead of Verstappen. Is Russell going to be ahead of him? Yes, he is. So is Albon, and so might Tsunoda. Not quite. Oscar can now crack on and try and build some sort of gap back to Verstappen. And then Verstappen's going to have to go to a set of mediums for the end, which will hold up better, but he'll probably be on worse tyres because he'll have to stop sooner as he's currently on softs. We could be in a very good position here at Mercedes to snatch victory with one of our drivers. Well, obviously we couldn't do it with two, but Verstappen might be under a lot of pressure come the final few laps. We're making some good progress now. Piastri's up to P3. He's passed Maloney and Stroll. Verstappen is coming with Russell, which isn't particularly useful because we don't really want to be giving him extra positions. But Russell's sending it to the inside of Maloney, who's yet to pit. And Piastri is now the car ahead of him. He's closing in on the Ferraris, who have not stopped yet. They're probably going to go medium, soft, maybe? We'll have to wait and see. But we're in a good position. We're making progress. We should find ourselves in the lead of the race at some point once again. Whether that's in a few laps' time or hopefully towards the end of it, and most importantly at the end of it. Was it? Oh no! Oscar, what have you done?
Just keep it up.
Oh, I don't believe it.
It helps when you stay on the track there.
Yes, it does, Oscar. Yes, it does.
Do what you can.
I can't believe that's just happened. No, Oscar. He was looking so well set. I don't believe this. And his confidence completely down the toilet. But it hands George Russell P3. So in a perverse way, that's kind of helpful. We don't have to deal with team orders. But now Oscar has got to go on a bit of a charge. But the damage is done. It's now a head-to-head between Verstappen and Russell for the win, I would say. Unless Ferrari have got something special up their sleeve strategically, well, this is Ferrari, then I think it's just a straight head-to-head on the strategies between Russell and Verstappen. Oscar's locked up again. I don't believe... It's just all fallen apart for Oscar Piastri now that his confidence is through the floor. And the tyres... I haven't even checked the tyres, actually. They're probably not worth using anymore. They probably look like 50p pieces. Oh, dear. Oscar. Right, while Oscar Piastri is having a bit of a meltdown at the back, George Russell is on the tail of Lando Norris for the lead of the race. Are we driving in clean air? It doesn't matter. We're just going to try and go around the outside of the Ferrari. Can we make this stick? He's pushing us very wide, very aggressive there from Lando, and we are into the lead of the race. But here comes Max Verstappen as well down the inside, and he moves into P2. And those soft tyres, they're not as good as you'd have hoped they would be in that position. He'll be stopping a few laps before us for some mediums, I would think. He needs to get past us pretty quickly to make best use of those tyres. Oscar Piastri, are we rebuilding any confidence? Not really. Not really. His race is done in terms of anything productive. Russell's doing a great job here. This is going so well because he's not letting Verstappen get away. Verstappen's tyres aren't at their best by far from it. George's tyres, not ideal either, but they're giving him better performance than those old softs. Lando Norris must surely be... Yeah, there he goes, into the pit lane. What's he going to? Surely a set of softs, but that's going to be tough to get to the end from here. We've got low confidence still with Oscar. I cannot believe how his race has unravelled today. Just absolutely gutted for the kid. But what can you do? Well, you can win the race with his teammate. So George is continuing to defend and deny Verstappen the clear air that he needs to make his strategy work. He'll undercut us, but on the softs against the mediums, I don't think he'll have much response. Alright, Max Verstappen is into the pit lane. And Red Bull have done a double stack. Leclerc has just stopped as well. He's put on a set of softs. And Verstappen is actually going to come out behind Lando Norris, who's undercut his way ahead of the Red Bull. We are a lap or two away from stopping ourselves. So we're going to
we just want to grow this gap.
Attack on the tyres, push with the fuel. Oscar Piastri's coming in. But Oscar's race has just imploded. There's no other word for it. Just completely blown up. Pit stop time then for George Russell. Fresh set of soft tyres will be going onto the Mercedes. We need a nice clean stop, please, everybody. 2.6 seconds. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Where's Norris? He's gone past us. Where's Verstappen? Oh, is he going to be past us? Oh, it's side by side. It's super, super close. George basically had to get out of the throttle there, I think. George Russell, if he wants to win this race, needs to overtake Max Verstappen and Lando Norris. But he needs to make up some 6 seconds to the Ferrari, who's about to take the lead as Tsunoda goes to the pit lane. Does George have DRS? He does. And he'll have driving clean air enabled. Is this the moment? Are we going to just do him into turn 4? Yes, we are. There we go. Softs versus mediums. Almost no contest. We're doing what Max Verstappen couldn't do. We're going to take the position and we're going to clear off. We now have 5 seconds to catch Norris for the win. So let's see how the next few laps unfold and see what the lap time difference is. Verstappen's still going for it. We've got a yellow flag. Many cars have crashed. Not sure who it's involving, but not a problem for me right now. Because the problem for me right now is Max Verstappen. And there he goes. We've not cleared off as I hoped. Maybe with DRS we'll just slingshot each other towards the rear end of the Ferrari. And then hopefully we can just crack on from there. We're not sure what's going on here. The investigation has glitched and no one's been awarded a penalty? Very weird. 11 laps remain. We've got a time penalty for Yuki Tsunoda for taking out Pierre Gasly. But we have almost caught Lando Norris. That Ferrari has not got great pace right now. We're a second a lap faster. And now we do have DRS. So what we can actually do is, just for now, avoid the high-risk curbs, cool the tyres down. Verstappen has dropped back here. Maybe this is the moment to go for it. If we harvest energy into turn 1, then deploy it out of turn 3. Let's go drive in clean air as well, please, George. And hopefully this works. We take avoid high... Oh, no. We're clicking all the wrong buttons here at Mercedes, but George Russell is defying my ineptitude and taking the lead. Great stuff. Fabulous. Get in, George. That's what we wanted to see. We need to end this... Exactly. Come on. We need to end this Red Bull mini winning run and take back the top spot for ourselves. Oscar Piastri, finally rebuilding his confidence, has moved up to P16. And we'll just have to put our arm around him and make him feel better, basically. Just one of those days for Oscar. But we are still leading with George Russell. We pulled over a second on Norris. We've got a yellow flag out at the moment. Ollie Behrman's had a spin. But this is fabulous for us. We should be all okay to the end. If Verstappen gets stuck behind Norris, that's good for us. It allows us to build a lead, which we are doing right now. All right, George Russell starts the final lap. We've over-consumed fuel with Oscar Piastri as we were fast-forwarding to the end of the race. George Russell has now got an 8.2 second lead. I don't think Oscar's going to make the end. We'll just conserve everything with him and see if we can save enough fuel. George has driven beautifully. He made the overtakes when he needed to. Leclerc's just stolen P3 from Norris, which means the Ferrari driver won't get a podium reward for his drive, but George Russell will get a victory reward for this drive under the lights in the desert. He's been fantastic. Bear in mind, he started 11th and he's going to win the race. Although I think it was last season in Bahrain we started towards the back and still managed to win the race. I think we finished 1-2 last year with Lewis and George. But we're going to finish 1-14 today. But it's really only the one that mattered because we needed to win. We have won. Mercedes are back on top of the podium. And George Russell asserts his position again at the top of the championship. Max Verstappen comes home 9 seconds adrift. Is that Lando taking third? No. He's a 10th short. It was a drag race to the line and he's just missed out. Yuki Tsunoda is going to lose out to Sargent. Sargent's going to finish 5th. That's mad. Logan Sargent's going to finish 5th in this race because Tsunoda's got a penalty. There you go. 10 points for Logan Sargent. Incredible. George Russell wins again. It's his 9th win of the season. And he celebrates with the mechanics. He'll be heading to the top step of the podium. And there he is. He'll be coming to get the trophy. And it's good to feel that winning feeling again, isn't it? It had only been a couple of races, but it's never nice to see your championship lead being cut down, eroded, because that can quickly get out of hand and the pressure can soon be on. But George Russell wins the Bahrain Grand Prix and reasserts control of the championship. So George rises 10 places to finish where he probably should have started, but obviously we took the grid penalty and that meant we started 11th with him. Sadly for Oscar, only P14, having started on the pole. But it's more important for, I say more important for George's championship. We do want Oscar to do well, but this was an important win for George. Opens the gap up by another 7 points, so it is now 70 points, the difference between George and Max Verstappen's Red Bull. In the Constructors, we lose points to Red Bull. This is kind of getting away from us. We need to get Oscar going in the right direction and make sure we keep those points coming in from him because he's now starting to hurt us in the Constructors. if we'd put a more experienced driver in there, we'd probably be winning it quite comfortably. But we're going to stick with Oscar, we're going to have faith in him, we're going to work with him and make sure days like today don't happen again, at least for him. But we do want more days like today for George Russell. He was fantastic and deservedly the race winner. And so we're back to winning ways. Are we going to continue that form in Saudi Arabia? That's the next round, and it's also a sprint weekend. So make sure you join me for that. Leave a nice big thumbs up on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe down below as well. And while you're there, join the Discord. There's a link to that in the description. I'll see you in Jeddah. You're the best fans. Bye for now.